Hey Vikings Nation, what's going on? Are you ready for a name that's flying under the radar right now, but could explode into one of the most intriguing stories for the Minnesota Vikings? Because today we're talking about a player who's being called a freak. And trust me, that's the kind of label you love to hear in football. There's a quiet buzz building around a linebacker that most fans haven't even heard of yet, but insiders are starting to pay attention. And when the Vikings start doing their homework on a player like this, you know there's something real there. This could be another one of those hidden gems that turns into a fan favorite. So stay with me, because this story has everything. Insane athletic traits, a family football legacy, and a path that Vikings fans know very well. Could this be the next undrafted steal in Minnesota? Let's break it all down. The name you need to remember is Jack Dingle, a linebacker out of Cincinnati who isn't expected to hear his name called during the draft. But don't let that fool you, because the Vikings are already showing real interest behind the scenes. Reports indicate that Minnesota has already held a private meeting with Dingle, putting him on their radar alongside teams like the Raiders and Saints. That's not random. That's scouting with intention, and it tells us the Vikings see something worth investing time in. And if you've been following this team for years, you already know this story sounds familiar. The Vikings have a history of finding undrafted linebackers and turning them into contributors. So the big question is Dingle next? Let's go back a bit because this pipeline isn't new. Back in 2017, Eric Wilson came into Minnesota undrafted and carved out a solid role. Fast forward to 2023, and Ivan Pace Jr. shocked everyone by becoming an impact player almost immediately. That's not luck. That's a system. That's a scouting philosophy that identifies overlooked talent and develops it into something special. And now, Jack Dingle might be stepping into that exact same path. So when you hear that Minnesota is doing their homework on a linebacker that most teams are sleeping on, you should be paying attention. History tells us this could turn into something big. Now let's talk about what makes Dingle so intriguing. Because physically, this guy is exactly what modern football is looking for. He's nearly 6'4" and weighs around 240 pounds, giving him the kind of frame that defensive coordinators dream about. But it's not just size. It's how he moves. Dingle has the speed and agility to keep up with tight ends, which is one of the toughest matchups in today's NFL. That alone makes him valuable in a pass-heavy league. And when you combine length, speed, and instincts, you start to see why the Vikings might be interested. This isn't just another body. This is a player with real upside. Things get even more interesting when you look at his athletic testing. Dingle reportedly benched 395 pounds and put up 26 reps at 225. That's serious strength even by NFL standards. But then you look at his speed metrics and it gets wild. A 1.54-second 10-yard split, nearly 22 miles per hour on GPS tracking, and elite agility numbers. That's not normal for a linebacker. That's why he landed on Bruce Feldman's famous Freaks list, which highlights the most athletic players in college football. And being on that list, that's a big deal. And here's something else that adds to his story. Football runs in his blood. Jack Dingle is the son of former NFL player Nate Dingle, who also played at Cincinnati. That kind of background matters. It means he understands the game at a deeper level. It means he's been around the grind, the expectations, and the discipline required to succeed. So now you're not just talking about an athlete. You're talking about someone with the physical tools and the football IQ. That's a dangerous combination. Let's talk production because numbers matter too. In 2024, Dingle recorded 53 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 2 fumble recoveries. Those aren't eye-popping stats, but they show consistency and versatility. He's around the ball, he creates disruption, and he finds ways to make plays. And sometimes that's exactly what scouts are looking for in a developmental prospect. Not perfection, but potential. Moving into 2025, Dingle took another step forward. He posted 60 tackles, added 3 sacks, and continued to show his ability to impact the game in multiple ways. One of the most interesting parts of his profile is his coverage ability. He earned a 69.9 grade in coverage, which is actually the strongest part of his game. In today's NFL, that's huge. Linebackers who can cover are incredibly valuable, especially in a defense like Minnesota's. Now imagine this. Brian Flores gets his hands on a player like Dingle, a hyper-athletic linebacker with coverage upside and room to grow. Flores loves aggressive, versatile defenders. He loves players who can move around, disguise looks, and create chaos. So if Dingle ends up in Minnesota, don't be surprised if he's used in creative ways right from the start. At the very least, Dingle could make an immediate impact on special teams. And that's often the first step for undrafted players trying to earn a roster spot. There's even talk about him potentially stepping into a gunner role, especially if roster changes open up opportunities. And if he excels there, that's how you start building trust with the coaching staff. But let's be real for a second. This isn't a guaranteed success story. Dingle is still an undrafted level prospect, and there are reasons why teams might pass on him. Consistency, refinement, and overall polish are areas he'll need to improve. The NFL is a different level, and raw talent only gets you so far. But the upside? That's what makes this exciting. And that's where you come in, Vikings fans. What do you think about this type of move? Do you trust the Vikings' track record with undrafted linebackers? Do you think Jack Dingle could be the next Ivan Pace Jr.? Or is this just another name that won't pan out? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to hear your take on this. As we look ahead to the 2026 NFL Draft, remember this name. Because even if he doesn't get drafted, that might be exactly what puts him on Minnesota's radar. And sometimes the best stories in football aren't about first-round picks. They're about the guys nobody believed in, the guys who had to fight for everything, the guys who become legends out of nowhere. So keep your eyes open, Vikings Nation, because this could be the beginning of something special. And if you're as excited about the future of the Minnesota Vikings as I am, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with every Vikings fan you know. Let's keep growing this community. Let's keep talking Vikings, and let's stay locked in for more breaking news and updates. SKOL, baby!